We're speaking with Uncle Harry Dare. Harry, you're down in Adelaide for the court case in relation to the Kimba waste storage facility. What's the nature of the protest going on there today?
The protest is against the nuclear waste, as you've already introduced us. It's about the nuclear waste dump in Kimba, which is the Napandee site is about 20, 30 k's east of Kimba. And we're down here to talk about the inequality that's happening with the Labor government in Australia, the federal Labor government. We have spent about, a very minimal amount compared to what the Australian government is wasting on this court case. Now, by the time the court case finishes, they will have spent probably $4 to $5 million with about 20 lawyers, QCs, King's Counsels, whatever you want to call them, against our 4 lawyers. We're talking about inequality as in they give us back our native title rights, and now they're taking the land against us and not letting us vote in the elections that were held on our country, which is the Kimba local council area, of course. We did not have a vote in that. We believe that it's our right as the traditional owners of that country to have a vote in anything that affects our country. I'm talking about from Port Augusta to Port Lincoln, which I don't know whether any of your listeners know about. It's a fair slice of the land in South Australia.
Yeah, it sure is. Now, Uncle Harry, you're there as a representative of the Barngarla people, and I understand that the survey that ran out to the Kimba residents had a 61% in favour of this facility going ahead, but you're saying even if people didn't live in that Kimba area, they should have had a say as members of the Barngarla people?
Of course. I mean, that's the reason for native title, isn't it? So that we can have a voice in our own country. I was led to believe that's what it's about. We're talking about the voice to Parliament that's supposedly happening all over Australia, and yet they won't give us a vote in our own council elections that affect our people.
And you've got the state parliament's got their voice to parliament proposal going through, and federally the Albanese government's having a referendum on that. But you're saying you're not able to be heard at the moment because you need to get a small team of lawyers to take on the might of the government.
That's correct. And we're talking about millions of dollars that the Australian government are spending compared to the little bit of money that we have. But we're not just going for the welfare of the Barngarla people. We're fighting for the welfare of all of Australia. The nuclear waste dumps that are occurring, I don't know whether you've heard, there's one up in the Woomera restricted area. That is now leaking. Do the Australian people know this? You know, and we're talking about Woomera, which is in the Artesian Basin. You know, what if all that water gets affected?
And I gather, Uncle Harry Dare, that we're speaking with here from the Federal Court in Adelaide, I gather that what your view would be that if you took a vote of your own people in relation to this facility is that you don't want it to go ahead at all on Barngarla land?
Of course not. We don't want it anywhere on our country. We don't want it on anybody's country. We see it as a waste of time and a waste of money because they have the nuclear waste facility in Lucas Heights. Why don't they leave it there?
Well, I think the argument, Uncle Harry, is they're saying it's full. They want to find somewhere else to put it. Do we need to find a solution? A lot of this comes from nuclear medicine that people need for life-saving treatments.
They're saying that, okay? They're saying it's from nuclear waste, low nuclear waste. But how do we know? The government has lied to us on so many fronts that you know, who can believe our government? I can't, and the Barngarla people can't. And I don't believe that all of Australia believe the government.
No, it's a fair point, Uncle Harry. We certainly come across some interesting claims by government that don't turn out to be the case. Look, we're happy to keep tracking this case and indeed what's going on with nuclear storage. Thanks so much for joining us this morning from your peaceful protest there in Adelaide.
Listen, thank you very much, and thank you for your listeners to be tuning in. Our court case here will finish on Friday of this week. The Barngarla people are going to be in Adelaide all this week, talking to interested groups in the Adelaide region so that we get our story out and so we get the nuclear waste facility on the lips of everybody at their breakfast tables so that everybody has a view on it. So listen, thank you very much for your time.